Our next panel is probably the most Egyptian panel we are going to talk about today. It is the intersection of where we will live, where we will work, how we will work in 2035. So you've got real estate, first homes and second homes, you've got office space, that's real estate again, and you have artificial intelligence. Here to walk us through discussion is Hadia Mustafa, my co-founder, my friend, and my business partner.
So for the next 30 minutes, I'd like all of you to put your futurist hats on, okay? I know that's a difficult job, and I want you to all try to imagine life 10 years from now, okay? But before we go to the future, I'd like us to take stock of where we are today, because a lot has happened in the past 5 years with COVID, with AI, a lot of changes have taken place. So maybe we'll start with you, Dasha, if you can just take stock of what you think are the major trends that have taken place in the past 5 years and how those trends are going to set up the stage for where we're going in the next 10 years.
Thank you, Hadia. Thank you for having me. Good morning, everybody. And it's a very tough panel, starting with a very tough question, but I'll try and distill a little bit. The last 5 years, we've been recovering from COVID. We've been operating in a very challenging environment with very high interest rates, with consumer spending and generally discretionary spending very squeezed. We've seen lots of changes in laws along the residential and commercial. So, I think that we've seen a trend of, first of all, flight from the cities to the suburbs. And I think it started with the residential, then it moved to the commercial covering the office and the retail and obviously everything else. And I remember when we first started those trends in the West, and it was just the residential, and there was even a little bit of a trend of people flocking back because the services weren't there. I think the services have all caught up. We've seen successful examples, and we've seen unsuccessful ones. And I think the trend that we're seeing very clearly now is the convergence of the uses together and the kind of the rising up of the mixed-use environments. And I don't like to use these kind of forums to promote, but I have to talk about District 5
yes.
as an area that has really, I think, been at the forefront of it, of combining the residential with the retail, with the commercial, with the services, and creating destinations where people can interact and can walk and can dwell. And we've heard about trying to increase dwell time in malls and in retail environments, but I think that's now happening in offices. And as we move forward to the impact of AI, I think people still need places to interact. And I think that the offices in these mixed-use environments will be the center of that activity.
Yes, and I think District 5 captured a lot of these trends. And I'm curious, did it start out as something and then turn into something else?
Yes.
Yes, yes. Successfully, though. Yeah. Okay. Ahmed, if we can go to you next. I think you have always been a visionary in terms of recognizing very, very early on, even before COVID, even before AI, that the nature of our work environment is evolving and changing. Greek Campus, I can't remember which year did that launch, but
2012 or 13.
Yeah. So what do you see as the trends the biggest trends that have taken place and how they're going to get us forward?
I think extract some of what Dasha mentioned. I think people are going to find places to live, work, and collaborate. And I think maybe I discount the play part of it a little bit, okay, because the digital aspect of that will allow you to do that almost anywhere. The other thing I wanted to highlight, migration from city to suburb. I'm actually looking at migration from overseas back to Egypt, of the highest quality talent. Some really, really sharp people are now looking at what everybody here has contributed to building as a place I want to come back to, and I want to raise my kids here, and it's become a very viable option competitive to the West and even the GCC. And so the depth of what we have here has become very attractive, and I think that's one of the things that we need to leverage.
Okay. And that brings us to Hanan. Hanan, you've collaborated and partnered with both Dasha and Ahmed with the Greek campus and with District 5. Can I get your view?
Yeah, the post-COVID, in my opinion, there's a very big societal shift that priorities of humans became wellness, health, and work-life balance. And this changed the whole way we look at the workspaces and the way we live, etc. And there's also an aesthetic shift because we love the outdoor and we want to bring the outdoor indoor. There's a very big design shift to bring culture and to bring all the biophilic kind of design aspects into the indoor and into the way we organize, the way we work, and the way we live. So that's a huge trend, and it's going to continue.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And now let's move the conversation over to a topic that we've touched upon with all of our panels this morning, which is AI. New products are being launched every day. Nobody really knows what the future is going to bring, even if they tell you they do. But for the purposes of our discussion, I'd like to look at the impact of, first of all, the impact of AI on jobs. The CEO of Anthropic recently said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs in the next 1 to 5 years. The World Economic Forum's 2025 Future of Jobs report predicts that 9 million jobs are expected to be displaced by AI in the next 5 years. We'll start this time again with Hanan as the tech expert and the optimist, the AI optimist in the group. Do you think this is overly alarmist, or do you agree?
Yeah, I would like to start from, not from the alarmist perspective, but from the reality perspective. Is like AI and is really, the change is coming and it's extremely fast. I think it's faster than anything that we've seen before. And I've been in the digital transformation business for so long, and things has been there, but it's been slow because of the friction of people's ability to change. But this time, I think there is a massive kind of fast change that will happen. So it's a bit difficult on the short term and hopefully great on the longer term. And the nature of the entry-level jobs, the nature of the organizations, because organizations will flatten out, there will be delayering, there will be a change in the roles of management of managers. We'll learn how to manage AI agents. It's a totally different kind of transformation that we're going to witness. Hopefully, the entry-level jobs and the young will be able to adapt and embrace. And the key word is embrace, not resist the change. And this, for the youth, will be extremely fast.
Okay. Ahmed, so most of these reports and the commentary that we get about, the job apocalypse are more US-centric, US-based. I believe in Egypt we may be a little bit behind, and maybe this is one area where it's an advantage that we're a little bit behind, because we're going to see how the rest of the world reacts. But how do you feel about the issue of jobs? Are we going to be out of work soon?
I would guess your 9 million number is low.
Yeah.
Over the next 5 years, globally. Mm-hmm. But I do think that the lag in Egypt is an advantage. In digitization, a lot of the companies we used to fund early on were, copy, paste, innovate, copy, paste, localize. And I think that the lag that Egypt will have in implementing AI, or has had even till today, in implementing AI in the workplace, is an opportunity to adjust and to fine-tune the response and to localize the response. So I'm usually not very scared of change, and this one is scary and exciting at the same time. But there's definitely going to be substantial unrest and change, and young people are going to have to be very quick to adapt. I was just joking with somebody, my 3-year-old grandson talks to ChatGPT and says, tell me about spiders, and having a conversation. And I don't think the idea that AI is going to dumb people down unless they end up talking to it alone. And that's why I think what both Dasha and Hanan mentioned, places where people get together and communicate on a regular basis. And the fear is the siloization, people going into silos with the AI by themselves and kind of diluting their thought processes is the risk.
Okay. Dasha, I think most people are in agreement that the first jobs to go, or the first jobs that will be impacted, are entry-level jobs. So naturally, the Gen Zers, recent college graduates are maybe overly pessimistic about their futures. How do you feel about this as a business professional, as a father of a Gen Zer and a recent college graduate? How do you feel about this impact on entry-level work?
So I've been trying to get up to speed as the real estate dinosaur. That's hopefully one of the industries that's the least, let's say the most delayed in being impacted. We need to sleep and work and eat and all of this stuff, but I kind of don't agree with that statement that only entry-level jobs are impacted. I think all jobs are, and as you move up the ladder, you need people kind of feeding the machine from the start. So I think it really is potentially either a threat or a assistant to all jobs, and whether some jobs are eliminated and they'll be replaced by things that we can't foresee. As the optimist, I kind of like to think that. I was listening to Jeffrey Hinton, the founder of the AI, and he was saying that the jobs that are least threatened are the manual jobs and the plumbers and this type of thing.
Yes.
So we'll need skilled craftsmen, and we've got a lot of need for that. But I like to think that we will figure it out across the board, and that there's definitely threats. Is it apocalyptic? Hopefully not.
Yeah. I think entry-level work will eventually have to be reimagined, because we still need junior positions, and we need those junior people in companies in order to grow. Hanan, you work with a lot of young people. How do you feel about this?
I think reimagined and redefined, and even the word junior and senior will be redefined, because if entry level or the entrance into are much faster to adapt and much higher capabilities to deliver or to be able to adapt, they'll be the seniors more than the juniors. So it's a total redefinition phase for everything. And it's a redefinition phase for what do we call work? What do we call value creation? So that's why I keep on thinking it's like the most powerful skill that we need is to be able to unlearn to learn. And that's something that each one of us has to work on acquiring this kind of skill.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, as you said earlier, Hanan, there's maybe some short-term pain, as with any new technology, but then maybe long-term gain. I'm interested, Ahmed and Dasha, what are the new skills that you think will be necessary in order to be competitive in the job market 10 years from now? We'll start with Ahmed.
I actually think you have to learn to coexist with AI and take advantage of it. But I think that the bigger shift that universities and educational institutions need to focus on is really focusing on deep science, okay, on semiconductors, biotech, physical products, and that degrees in the soft sciences will be less valuable going forward. I actually don't agree with that I think robots are going to replace low-end labor. right?
Yeah.
Skilled craftsmen, low-end labor, that may be one of the first jobs to go with the robotics, which is in 3 to 5 years, right? Call center operators, AI today already is replaceable. So I think the reshift into looking at people who can do what they call physical AI, which is how the AI interfaces with the real world through robots, through science, through biotech, through semiconductors. And as we're looking for investments, those are kind of the areas where we're shifting our focus. How do we dig into that and those fields to find opportunities?
But can I counter on that? Please. That where the cost of labor in the West is extremely high and the plumber costs $100 an hour to come and fix my stuff, maybe there is an economic case to have it robotics, but where the cost of labor is cheap, I can't see how the technology will be economically viable.
My $20,000 robot in 5 years will do the job of 5 people here, work 3 hours a day.
Let's see if he's $20,000.
So I'm interested, Ahmed, yani putting your VC investor hat on for a moment. Which businesses are you investing in now? What kinds of businesses are you looking to invest in now that will be sustainable 10 years from now with AI?
Exactly, the ones that involve deep science, that involve
deep science,
biotech, that involve semiconductors, that involve the physical AI, as well as the ones that can interact or overlay on existing AI and how to leverage them to solve problems that aren't solved yet.
Yeah. Dasha, the AI panel in the morning, I think one person mentioned the importance of critical thinking, things like creativity, taste, so on. Do you see these as important skills, and these are probably things that will not be replaced by AI? Would you agree with that?
Yes. In our industry, for example, there is a large element of calculating viability of projects through spreadsheets. And spreadsheets, in my personal view, as not a person that's very, let's say, very good with spreadsheets, can produce whatever outcome you want them to produce. But it takes that interpretation, that human kind of feeling gut, sometimes to make the call on something, whether it's viable or not, and whether it's nice or not. I think that creative is actually also challenged. It's one of the things that's potentially challenged. But, I do think that there is room for human touch across pretty much most of the jobs. And sitting on this panel, when I look at Greek Campus and Kamelizer and District 5 and all of this, creating the places for people to collaborate, to cluster, to create magic, I don't think that putting a bunch of AI machines is going to create that multiplier effect.
Right. That brings me on to the next topic, which is the workplace and geography, and how how AI is going to impact how we live. Hanan, as the pioneer of the co-working space in Egypt with Kamelizer and with Consoleya, how do you imagine the office will look like in 10 years?
So I just want to echo the creativity and the importance of creativity in the era that we're living, because AI is for speed and humans are for interpretations and for context. And the more this happens, the more the value of art, creativity, interpretation, storytelling, context. And for all of this, you need these workspaces to transform into ecosystems where different needs are met. There are a lot of, as I said, an aesthetic shift and a societal shift. So you need to create spaces where there are a lot of terminology. You need to create spaces that has neurodiversity, where you can have a quiet space, a collaborative space, and a meeting space. You need to create a space where there is multi-generational space, a space that appeals for different generations. We used to have multi-generations in the workspace, but these kind of generations, the upcoming generations, demand the right to have the space with their formula. So how do you design a space that does not alienate the different generations that exist in these workspaces? I totally imagine that the workspace formulation will have all these concepts, and I call it design for choice. So you need to have a space that is truly built with a lot of choices so that people can see what suits the type of work and the mood that they want to fit in, because everything needs to coexist in the same ecosystem. So that's how I see it. And we have a lot of work transformation that is happening in the remote workation and different formulas. So destination workspaces is on the rise.
Yeah. And Dasha, as you develop projects in the future, this is obviously something that you will keep in mind, yeah?
I mean, very much. I was taken by, just anecdotally, a friend, colleague, was telling me yesterday about this young Gen Zer that was deciding between two jobs. And it was a multinational job, a very coveted, high-end and high-paying multinational job in a office tower on the Nile, and or a local job in an environment where she felt would be more kind of suitable and should meet more young people. And she turned the big multinational name down for the work environment. And I think the young generation are not just motivated by climbing the corporate ladder or money. Mm-hmm. It is about the quality of life and the quality of people that they're going to interact with. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what informs our decisions now on creating future workspaces.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Can I throw something in on this? I think the hardest challenge in real estate is your ability to shift and change, unlike a digital company or whatever, is really very difficult because you're working on a project takes you 3 to 7 years from start to delivery.
Yes.
And so building for flexibility so that if you've messed up, you can adapt and change, okay, is really the key. Not just building and trying to guess what everybody wants in 3 to 7 years, but building so that you know that the odds are 80% you got it wrong. And you better build space that you can change flexibly for whatever the market wants at that time.
Yeah. I'd also like to take a look at city centers versus suburbs. And I think this is very interesting because Hanan and Ahmed and also Dasha, I mean, you don't have anything downtown, but there's Villa M in Zamalek, which is also a city center. How do you think this trend is going to evolve? There's downtowns were declared dead a few years back. Now we're seeing a global trend of the revival of downtowns. And Cairo, downtown Cairo is a good example of that. How do you see this going forward? Hanan.
So, as we said, the culture is even more and more precious. The more the world goes digital, the more humans crave the culture, crave these kind of interactions, and city centers and downtown, this is the melting pot of all kind of interests and or disciplines. And our downtown Cairo is so precious. You can just feel it. It has a very precious vibe, and everyone, once you taste this kind of vibe, you crave for more, and people come with different kind of experiences. And that's something, from my perspective, that will grow massively in the coming few years.
Ahmed?
Just briefly, downtown gives you more flexibility because out in the suburbs, whoever's just built something recently is already married to that image and that business plan that they have. And in downtown, you have lots of amazing remnant space that you can redesign and repurpose, and same as you mentioned, Villa M and Greek Campus and Consoleya. And these are remnant spaces that you can be creative with versus somebody's business plan that they're implementing in a new development.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I agree. I'm excited too. And when you look at all major super cities, and I'd like to think of Cairo as a super city with history and generations, and that as much as we'd like to design flexible spaces, generally the business plans don't allow you to. And you have to make a call and you have to go a direction, but real estate is naturally flexible, and we've seen downtowns degenerate and gentrify and change from commercial to residential and I see the downtown in Cairo going through that process and becoming more tourism. It's the Nile. I see it becoming more for young couples or individuals rather than the suburbs for families. So I think there's huge. It's got the transportation links. It's got the walkability. So I think there's a very exciting future for Cairo downtown.
Okay, great. I think we have time for one closing question. So again, fast forward to 2035. Where do each of you see yourselves and your specific businesses given everything that we have discussed? Hanan.
I'm super excited about the transformation that is happening, that is blending different types of workspaces. So I see myself continuously architecting and designing new type of workspaces that are blending work, life, culture, music, entertainment, food in one space. Yeah.
Ahmed?
In 10 years, hopefully hanging out with my grandkids and playing golf. All right? Leaving all these problems to all of you guys. Seriously, but I think that I would like to see that the things that we're building in Egypt and in Cairo continue, and that Cairo continues to boom. And I'll tell you all the fact that last year was the first year Cairo was listed as one of the top 100 innovation centers in the world. And this year it advanced to, I think, number 80 something from number 100 or 99. So building cool places, creating innovation, supporting innovation, I think hopefully continues to be the future of Cairo and Egypt.
Dasha.
Well, I was very encouraged by the two keynote speakers, the two ministers. I thought that they set a very, very exciting scene, and for, let's say, for the first time in many years, I'm kind of buying the Kool-Aid a little bit. Seems to be moving in the right direction. The fact that Mr. Alfi here is relocating from the West Coast to Cairo suggests that there is something good happening here. So I think that the 10-year question is very hard, because I think that the rate of transformation that is being fueled by this AI revolution, or whatever the hell it is incredible. So I have no idea is the answer to your question, but I think that there is exciting times ahead.
Excellent. Thank you all so much.